Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. It's in the description below. Your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any of our platforms. Please reach out to me directly. Email tmosso@thewatchbox.com for pricing. Today, we're discussing a model launched in 2017, part of the third generation Vacheron Constantin Overseas series. This is the Overseas Dual Time. The watch is 41 millimeters in rose gold. You can see in profile it is 13.2 millimeters thick, and from lug tip to lug tip, 48.7 millimeters. It comes with this brown rubber strap, a brown leather strap, a separate deployant clasp for the straps, which you see here. And the watch, of course, includes quick release lugs underneath, so you can rapidly and without tools swap between the various strap and even bracelet options. Now, the timepiece includes plenty of ergonomic harmony. Once on the wrist, you can see it fits easily on a 16 centimeter circumference wrist, and it is reasonably short across the wrist with lug ends that are angled downward. So I could envision this watch wearing well on a wrist as small as 15 centimeters circumference. You can see my wrist is 16, and I really do think that between the bracelet, the rubber strap, and the leather strap, it is the rubber strap that fits best on a small wrist. So if you have the small wrist, this is the way you want to wear it. The case flank is sloped, and as you can see, it will slide underneath most cuffs. It's a substantial watch, though, somewhere between a Royal Oak and an Offshore in terms of actual size and bulk. The strap is nicely integrated. You can see it tapers down as though it were an integrated bracelet. We have a Vacheron factory strap here that is not crimped, not gouged. It is equipped with a folding clasp that can be displaced manually. You can see how there is a little pivot right here. This actually allows me to open up and remove the clasp if I wish to put it on the other strap. So that's how that works. You can see internally it is media blasted and polished. It's got the Maltese cross motif, which is the logo of the brand, and it is twin trigger release. The trigger mechanism sits underneath the buckle, so it can't fly open due to inertia, which gives you a lot of security on the wrist and peace of mind for an expensive and heavy watch. The case is polished in profile with these little flaring transitional bevels along the lug hoods. Satinated on the top, we have crowns that are screwed down with 150 meter water resistance. It easily outdoes the Royal Oaks, Aquanaut, and Nautilus, which are between, well, depending on the application, Royal Oaks and Nautilus are between 20 and 120 meters. So we've got a watch that is a real sports timepiece here, and it can absolutely go swimming and more. Taking a look, we have plenty of luminescence, though you're going to have to guess a little bit at the bottom of the dial. We have a little nod to the old 222. The original Vacheron 222 of 1977 inspired the 1996 Overseas family, which was the first Overseas. With the third generation, we bring back the little plinth underneath the bezel. That was a feature of the old 222. So you can see there's this circular plinth or base, and then we have this Maltese cross motif bezel that's polished outboard and satinated inboard. You can see the plinth is satinated on its top, polished on its edge. We have a little pusher adjuster here that is screw down and can be used for manually indexing the radial date. You can see the radial date has its own little concentric pattern internally. Hands, Vacheron logo, and indices are gold, so they won't tarnish or oxidize over time. You can see the depth of the dial with a polished chapter ring at the foot of the Rehaut. We also have an AM/PM indicator for the second time zone. Now, this isn't quite as clean as some travel time systems that allow you to fully cover the second time zone with the local hour hand, but you can clean it up a little bit as you can superimpose them, even if the triangular index of the travel time hand does jut out a little bit. It looks like there's a giant squid hiding under your hour hand. Speaking of which, release the Kraken. There it is right there. It is a red index. It indicates the second time zone, the place where you are not. Local time is at center. The red index with the AM/PM indicator indicates the time where you are not currently present. So you can see how as I move that little red index through 12, the AM/PM will shift to PM. So that was midday in my travel time reference zone. So that's how you keep track of that. And of course, the local time is what will actually drive the date. Screw that back down. Let's pop that strap off again. Take a look at the case back. Now we've got a movement and a case that are both Geneva seal. So you can see it on the case, you can see it on the movement. That's important because since 2012, it's been a standard for the fit, finish, and materials of an entire watch, not just the movement. You can see 150 meters, and it is that, but it's also anti-magnetic. magnetic. Thanks to a paramagnetic ring that sits around the movement, it channels magnetic field lines around the vulnerable escapement and hairspring, so 25,000 ampere per meter anti-magnet. We also have a 22-karat quadruple finished gold rotor with a compass rose motif, but also a lot more. Vacheron makes much of the finishing steps and time invested in this rotor. Ceramic bearings are used for high efficiency. We have 2 mainspring barrels and a 60-hour power reserve. We have chronometer-style 5-position adjustment, and you can see it beats away at 4 hertz. I'm not sure if you can see that, but take my word, it beats away at 4 hertz. The 3rd generation Overseas was the first with Geneva hallmark manufacture movements and display casebacks, and you can see that's put to good use. We have beveling to a high standard on the edge of the bridges. We also have it inside the jewel and screw sinks. Screw heads are black polished with chamfered slots in circumference. You can see here a barrel has been solarized, and then we have media blast on certain surfaces and satination on others. So you can see media blast at the center of the rotor around the compass rose points, and then satination on the outer edge of the center rotor as well as on the wheels of the drivetrain. And it is a beautifully decorated movement with deep, lustrous, luminous, and gradiated Côte de Genève. It does not disappoint. As part of the Holy Trinity, Vacheron is held to a higher standard. This watch realizes the company's potential and lives up to those expectations. Reach out to Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details.